There's no idea when to quit. Just the sort of niggly run chase that'll really float his boat as well. Left-handed threat has been removed now from Sodi. He'll just run the ball in, back in towards the right hand. The key to the wicket, Alex, was the lack of any width.
It has been an 18-year gap between drinks, but I can tell you something, the cider will be flowing in Taunton this evening. Somerset have taken the final by 14 runs.
What a way to win a final. What a catch. What a game. Sam thinks this is four. Sam thinks this is another boundary on the way. Watch TKC, a leaping salmon. You beauty. They've dominated the South Group. They've beaten Surrey in the semi-final. And they have defended 145 to win the 2023 Vitality Blast Finals Day. And your man, Matt Henry, 4 for 24.
And I'll tell you what, well played to the fireworks man for just waiting for the replay. Just waiting for the no ball and the replay. Well played, that man.
Not one that same as last year with Nathan Ellis. But what a final we've had. Ebbs and flows, yes, a low scoring. Essex believed even at the end there, and that man on your screen. 45 from 26. As that ball came off the edge, he thinks, just get past, it's another boundary. We've got a chance of winning it. But credit to Somerset, performed throughout and have deserved to win this tournament.
They've defended 141 and 145 today. That is credit to the bowling unit. The skipper, the captain, said it all tournament. There's something about Lewis Gregory. He just finds a way time and time again to get the best out of his men and to put up a performance himself as well. 4 overs, 2 for 25 today. Congratulations, Jason Kerr and the whole coaching team as well. They've been brilliant, the backroom staff. Absolutely superb. Just have a look at this, Corky. Once again, he thinks it's gone, doesn't he?
He's just thinking, just get it past, just get it past. It is just brilliant. One-handed, not his dominant hand, left-handed. And delight. He has been an exceptional captain this year, Lewis Gregory. He's led well. Our opening bowlers, Sodi coming in mid-tournament to take over from Roelof van der Merwe with his broken fingers all the way through. Banton and Smead, Kohler Cadmore, Abel, Sean Dixon with his performance with the bat, Ben Green with his wickets.
Tough day, isn't it? It's a long day for all concerned. These wonderful shots we've been giving.
Crickspin Live Line. Fastest cricket score.
गाइज मैच यहाँ पर बहुत ही लाजवाब, बहुत कमाल का देखने के लिए मिला। खास करके अगर हम बात करें जीतने वाली टीम की, तो सोमरसेट ने यहाँ पर ये मुकाबला फाइनल मैच जीत लिया है एड बेस्टन के बिर्मिंघम शहर में स्थित ये खूबसूरत ऐतिहासिक मैदान आज यहाँ पर एक और इतिहास रच दिया है। और कमाल की ये जीत, खास करके अगर मैं बात करूँ लास्ट में काफी रोमांचक हो गया था ये मुकाबला, क्योंकि कहीं ना कहीं यहाँ पर कुछ आखिरी के समय में अगर हम बात करते हैं तो जिस तरीके से यहाँ पर हम सभी ने देखा कि लगातार जो है विकेट्स गिर रही थी, अच्छी परफॉर्मेंस यहाँ पर लेकिन सामने निकल के आई और एट द एंड यहाँ पर जीत लिया है ये मुकाबला। इसेक्स वर्सेस सोमरसेट, यहाँ पर दोनों ही टीमें लगातार बड़ी शानदार परफॉर्मेंस करने के बाद यहाँ पर फाइनल में पहुंची थी। अगर पॉइंट्स टेबल की बात करूं तो सोमरसेट यहाँ पर पहले स्थान पर ऑलरेडी मौजूद थी। 14 में से 12 मुकाबले यहाँ पर सोमरसेट ने विन किया था। तो कहीं ना कहीं आप सभी को भी जो है ये अंदाजा जरूर से था कि सोमरसेट यहाँ पर बाजी मार सकती है और यहाँ पर मैच तो खैर जीता ही था सोमरसेट ने यहाँ पर सभी, लेकिन साथ ही साथ यहाँ पर फाइनलिस्ट भी रही और ना सिर्फ फाइनलिस्ट रही बल्कि यहाँ पर मैच भी विन करके गई है। एक बार सभी लोग का जो है मैं चैट देख रहा हूँ, रॉबर्टा, रावण, कासिम खान, एमबी मीडिया हमारे साथ, दीक्षा जायसवाल, कोड किंग, प्रेम शर्मिक, रफी ऑन फायर, मोहम्मद इलाही, अनमोल क्रिकेट, फजीम मिर्जा, सभी दर्शक जो जुड़े हैं एक बार लगातार फटाफट से एक बार सब्सक्राइब का बटन दबा दीजिए। आप लोगों के साथ जो है कमेंट्री करने का, मैच देखने का एक अलग आनंद है। लेकिन फिलहाल अगर बात करें यहाँ पर स्कोर कार्ड की, तो चलिए एक बार स्कोर कार्ड को पूरी तरीके से देख लेते हैं। टॉम बेंटन 16 गेंदों में 20 रन बना के पवेलियन वापस लौटे। 9 गेंदों में 9 रन बना के विल स्मिथ पवेलियन स्नेटर के द्वारा बोल्ड आउट होकर पवेलियन लौटे। टॉम एबल 14 गेंदों में 8 रन बनाकर पवेलियन वापस लौटे। पॉल वॉल्टर की गेंद पर एरन बियर्ड के हाथों कैच आउट हुए। सॉन डिक्सन बहुत अच्छा खेल रहे थे, 35 गेंदों में 53 रन बनाए थे, 7 चौके, 151.43 का इनका बहुत कमाल का आज स्ट्राइक रेट देखने के लिए मिल रहा था। लेकिन पॉल वॉल्टर की गेंद पर विकेट कीपर एडम रॉसिंगटन के द्वारा कैच आउट हो गए। लेविस ग्रिगरी अच्छे टच में नजर आ रहे थे। कप्तान सोमरसेट के यहाँ पर काफी खुश जरूर से होंगे, समर्थन यहाँ पर दर्शकों का खूब रहा इनके साथ। और साथ ही साथ ये मुकाबला, ये T20 ब्लास्ट 2023 की जो इतनी लंबी श्रृंखला चली है उसको जीत लिया है लेविस ग्रिगरी, विनिंग सोमरसेट टीम के कप्तान। बेन ग्रीन यहाँ पर 4 गेंदों में 2 रन बनाए। पॉल वॉल्टर की गेंद पर रॉबिन दास को कैच दे बैठे, कुछ खास देखिए कर नहीं पाए इस मैच में। बेन इस पूरे सीजन के दौरान जिस तरह से यहाँ पर खेलते नजर आए, तारीफ करनी बनती है बिल्कुल। और आज के मैच में भले यहाँ पर बेन ग्रीन थोड़ा सा आज भले यहाँ पर थोड़ा सा परफॉर्मेंस का ऊपर नीचे रहा बेन ग्रीन का, लेकिन उसके बावजूद इनको मार्क्स मिलते हैं क्योंकि ऑल ओवर दिस बड़ा कमाल का ये खिलाड़ी रहा है। के बाद क्रेग ओवरटन, मैट हेनरी और ईश। चलिए गेंदबाजों की अगर बात करें किस तरीके से बाजी करती नजर आई आज इसेक्स की टीम, तो आप लोगों के स्क्रीन के ऊपर एक बार जो है मैं वो कार्ड भी दिखाता हूँ का सारा लेखा। सबसे पहले अगर बात करें यहाँ पर डैनियल सैम, इन गेंदबाज प्रमुख ऑलराउंडर, बेस्ट बेस्ट में से एक हमारे जाते हैं। आज यहाँ सा रहा क्योंकि आखिरी पलों में कई शॉट्स आप देख, लेकिन तब तक काफी बॉस, क्योंकि ये है फाइनल मुकाबला और यहाँ पर आपको रन्स बनाने हो। आखिरी में आकर डैनियल सैम थोड़ा प्रयास जरूर, तब तक काफी देर हो चुकी थी और मैं हाथ से गया था। सिक्स से बाद यहाँ पर बात करें सैम को 26 रन दिए 4 ओवर में 1 मेडन 13 रन विकेट लाजवाब उमदा तूफानी गजब की गेंदबाजी स्नेटर द्वारा एरन बियर्ड एक ही ओवर डाला मात्र 11 रन खर्च किए मैथ्यू क्रिच ने यहाँ पर 3 ओवर में 23 रन कंसिस्टेंट परफॉर्मेंस रहा इनका ऑल ओवर द सीजन। पॉल वॉल्टर की बात करें 4 ओवर में रन 3 विकेट चटका इस खिलाड़ी ने। सिमोन हार्मर 1 ओवर डाला मात्र 12 रन और कोई भी विकेट प्राप्त नहीं। क्रॉसिंग अगर बात करें मैट हेनरी के द्वारा कैच 9 गेंदों में 19 रन बनाकर पवी 60 गेंदों में 17 रन मैट हेनरी द्वारा यहाँ पर एलबीडब्ल्यू आउट हुए। और आज मैट हेनरी ने तो कमाल ही कर दिया था, जिस तरीके से बड़ा शानदार लय उनका जो था आज अपनी प्रचंड रूप में वो नजर आ रहे थे और लगातार विकेट्स पे विकेट्स निकाले जा रहे थे। रॉबिन दास और पेपर यहाँ पर कुछ खास नहीं कर पाए, जल्द ही यहाँ पर विकेट खो बैठे और पवेलियन लौटना पड़ा। इसके साथ ही अगर बात करें मैथ्यू और पॉल वॉल्टर की, तो पॉल वॉल्टर एक अच्छे टच में नजर आ रहे थे। 24 गेंदों में 26 रन बनाए, 3 चौके भी लगाए, लेकिन एक नीची गेंद पर जो है अपना विकेट खो बैठे। की गेंद पर बोल्ड आउट हुए। डैनियल सैम्स यहाँ पर बड़ा लाजवाब फॉर्म में थे, लेकिन इनका ही विकेट वो था जो मैच का टर्निंग पॉइंट था, क्योंकि समय के लिए लग रहा था यहाँ पर जो मैच है एक्स जो है विन कर सकता है। पॉइंट पे यहाँ पर वो हुआ किस्मत बोल यहाँ पर हाल की गेंदबाजी मैट हेनरी द्वारा और विकेट उन्होंने हटा दिया डैनियल सैम्स का और मैच का रुख पलट गया। फिर सिमोन हार्मर का विकेट लेविस ग्रिगरी के द्वारा गिरा और करके स्नेटर एरोन बियर्ड का विकेट लेकर ऑल आउट कर दिया टीम को और जीत यहाँ पर हो चुकी है सॉमरसेट की। हालांकि टॉस पहले जीतने के बाद ने गेंदबाजी करने का फैसला किया था। बारिश का थोड़ा मौसम था यहाँ पर, फैसला देखिए यहाँ पर बिल्कुल सही था, लेकिन कहते हैं ना एक की ही हो सकती है और यहाँ पर जीता ये गाड़ी बड़ा गजब का है। लेकिन यहाँ पर आज शायद जो है और वही हुआ, थोड़ा सा दुर्भाग्यशाली रही टीम एक्स और हार का सामना करना पड़ा। खैर यहाँ पर अच्छी 4 ओवर में 3 रन 1 विकेट मैट हेनरी तो 3 4 विकेट चटकाए इस खिलाड़ी ने। अगर बात करें ई6 की तरफ से तो मैट हेनरी का उम्दा प्रदर्शन, वहां शेन स्नेटर ने ही ऐसी लाजवाब गेंदबाजी करके दिखलाई। डेविस ग्रिगरी 4 ओवर में 25 2 विकेट, बेन ग्रीन 1 ओवर में 10 रन, काइल एलरिज 2 ओवर में 19, सोडी 4 ओवर में 22 रन 3 विकेट चटकाए इस खिलाड़ी के अलावा। थैंक्स ऑल द अंपायर्स एंड सपोर्ट स्टाफ जो कि ग्राउंड में मौजूद थे इस बारिश के। डीन कॉस्कर, थर्ड अंपायर नाइजल लॉन्ग, अंपायर्स यहाँ पर ऑन फील्ड मार्टिन सैगर्स, वॉरेन। आज का ये जो मैच था साथ अंत होगा इसका और सोमरसेट के नाम ये जीत यहाँ पर डिजर्विंग टीम के नाम जो लगातार यहाँ पर कर दिया। आप लोगों के साथ करके काफी मजा आया, काफी इंटरेस्टिंग रहा और हाल समय हो चुका है अब यहाँ पर स्ट्रीम बंद करने का। एंड थैंक यू सो मच, आप सभी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। टीम से लगातार थैंक ऑल एंड साथ लेता हूँ मैं आपका अपना चैनल और इसी तरीके से मजेदार कमेंट लाइव जरूर से कर दीजिए। कल मुलाकात होगी शाम को, बांग्लादेश अफगानिस्तान का दूसरा अंतरराष्ट्रीय टी मुकाबला खेला जाएगा। वो भी एक बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग मैच रहेगा, क्योंकि अफगानिस्तान जिस तरीके से यहाँ पर बांग्लादेश के अब खेल रही है बिल्कुल सराहनीय यहाँ पर वाली बात है। बड़ा लाजवाब अंदाज जो है, बड़े गजब के टच में नजर आ रहे अफगानिस्तानी, चाहे गेंदबाज हो या आप बल्लेबाजों की बात। एक रिक्वेस्ट मेरा आप सभी अभी तक चैनल कर लीजिए, मात्र सब्सक्राइबर्स दूर हैं हम पर चैनल पर सब्सक्राइबर पूरा करने के लिए एंड जो हमारे दर्शक चाचा प्लेस पे देख रहे हैं, आप सभी लोगों का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। ऑल गुड लक आप सभी को, होप विन करे होंगे। जो भी हमारे व्यूअर्स हैं, जो भी हमारे दर्शक हैं, वो अच्छा विन करें। यहाँ साथ ही साथ आप लोग जो कर सकते हैं यहाँ पर बहुत, देखिए आपको यहाँ पर देखने के लिए मिल जाता है। अगर मैं बात करूँ क्विक स्पिन की, यहाँ पर आपको टीवी से अगर आप कंपेयर करते हैं, जो आपको स्क्रीन के ऊपर आप वीडियो देखते हैं, उससे करीब 2 बॉल के आसपास लगभग तेज देखने के लिए मिल जाता है। तो चैट सेक्शन के अंदर उसका भी लिंक है, क्योंकि अगर सभी के जो है when check out this बार में लिंक
Obviously your player of the match, but the bowling throughout this Vitality Blast has been exceptional from the Somerset bowlers.
No, it has been. I think this whole group's been outstanding. Everyone's done that throughout this campaign, and I suppose that's what the exciting part is. So absolutely stoked for these guys. It's been a long time coming. I know they've had a few times here in finals days, so it's great to see them get their awards.
And a special mention for your opening partner, Craig Overton, who day in, day out, 4 overs on the trot, and has always taken wickets.
Mate, he's been exceptional this whole Vitality Blast, and I've absolutely loved bowling with him, and he's been steaming in, taking a lot of catches as well. So no, he's been brilliant.
Tell us about the atmosphere at finals day.
Yeah, first finals day, so yeah, hats off to the crowd. That was absolutely outstanding, and I can't neglect the Somerset fans that are all still over there. It's been outstanding to have our support all year.
Congratulations on a great day, and enjoy the night.
Thanks very much, appreciate it.
Time now for a word with the captain of Essex, Simon Harmer.
Difficult to talk about losing in a final, but where did it go wrong today?
Yeah, I don't know. I think you can pick apart a million pieces of the game. At the end of the day, we were outplayed. I thought they bowled exceptionally well, which is a credit to Lewis and his team. We were outplayed tonight, and unfortunately, sometimes there's a loser, and that's us tonight. I can't fault our boys, how they played. And I think if there's one thing that you can't take away from Essex is how we fight to the end. So I think it's easy to nitpick at little things, but we obviously couldn't put it together with the bat tonight. But such is life. The sun's still going to rise tomorrow morning.
Absolutely. What were you talking about halfway? Because chasing that down, you'd think you only need one batter to get in, and the game would be won.
Yeah, I think we came out of the blocks really strongly, and you hope that you can carry on that momentum and get far enough ahead of the game that it kills it. Unfortunately, a couple of things didn't go our way. Lost a few wickets, and they bowled extremely well. So, yeah, credit to them, but it is what it is.
Yeah, a difficult time, but you must be proud of your team getting through, beating Birmingham Bears here and getting to a final.
Yeah, I think I said to the boys before we went on the field this evening, you know, nobody gave us a chance coming into this tournament. And I think we've showed that we've got an extremely talented group of boys. And yeah, I'm so proud of them and the way that they've stood up this tournament, and guys, youngsters that have taken their opportunities. It's been so good to see. I think disappointing for all of them that we couldn't get the win, but yeah, extremely proud of how they've gone about their business this tournament and the people that they are.
Commiserations in the final and good luck for the rest of the season.
Cheers, thanks Tom.
And now please welcome the victorious captain, Somerset's Lewis Gregory.
Lewis, tell us how that feels.
Yeah, pretty damn good. I've been to finals day many times, and yeah, this is a special feeling to get over the line tonight.
It's been a long time coming. In some ways, do the nerves get worse every time you get to finals day and just don't get over that winning line?
Yeah, it does. Obviously, everyone sort of sees Somerset as the nearly men, and yeah, it becomes harder each time you come back. I was just praying that we had a couple of guys that sort of had one of those days where you just can't stop them, and yeah, we did it the hard way, I think, throughout the day. But yeah, the boys have been excellent throughout the competition, and yeah, it's just rewards today.
Before we talk about today, I'll go back to that first game that we did on Sky this season for you, where you hammered Hampshire and really just set a marker down.
Yeah, we've been really fortunate with the bowlers that we've had throughout this competition. The seamers have been immense. We've had Rulloff, who's obviously missed the last few games, who's been superb throughout. He's getting better and better at nearly 45, I think he is. But yeah, we've made some great recruitments. Ish Sodhi coming in for the last three games on finals day has been superb, and then yeah, the boys with the bat have just been doing the job.
And your bowling unit, including yourself, were excellent throughout.
Yeah, they've been superb. We played on obviously a pretty good surface down at Taunton, and they've been superb throughout. I think we've bowled teams out, I think 70% of the time, which helps in T20 cricket if you're taking wickets throughout. And yeah, the guys have been superb. Henna's there has been outstanding all day and all competition, and yeah, Goober up front throughout the power play. Yeah, I can't sort of speak highly of the lads.
Also a little mention for your coach, Jason Kerr, who has done well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been building over the last few years. So third year in a row here. So yeah, I mean, I'm super happy for Jace, Sarge, who's put together a brilliant squad. Yeah, absolutely fizzed up for everyone.
Well, congratulations and enjoy your night and celebrations.
Cheers, thanks, Corky.
The Vitality Blast Champions 2023. Somerset. Once again, congratulations to the 2023 Vitality Blast champions.
They've had to wait for it. I'm not sure there's going to be enough apples left in the West Country to quench the thirst of the long-suffering Somerset supporters who have stayed with them through thick and thin, stayed with them through losing the last 4 finals they played in here at Edgbaston in the Vitality Blast. But under Lewis Gregory, they found a steel, they found a unit that can bowl teams out defending any sort of total. And when you think about it, the huge rap about the Somerset team has always been the runs that they can put on the board on flat pitches and a small ground at Taunton. But what they've done here at Edgbaston in terms of defending 2 very, very small totals, 7 and a bit and over set to batting lineups of the like of Surrey and Essex, and to walk away winners and win 14 out of 16 matches over the course of the Blast is quite some achievement, and they deserve all of those celebrations and all the plaudits that they're going to get for that performance. Simon Dool joins me. Joyous for somebody like Lewis Gregory. He really is one of the good guys.
Well, look, we've talked about it throughout the Vitality Blast this year, and I think he's been, along with Simon Harmer, who paid them both a lot of praise, but he is such a good captain. I mean, Sanga's talked about it, I've talked about it, I think we all have. Just what he gets out of himself, first and foremost. We've seen him win games with the bat. We've seen him win games with the ball.
We see what he does in the field. He's a very calm character, and I think he deserves this as much as anyone in that side, because he's held this team. He's got them over the line when they didn't deserve to get over the line.
possibly is. A couple of summers ago, I was going down late to cover Canterbury Downs with you.
Yes.
I stopped at Lee's house, and I was swimming in his pool, and we had lunch. He said, hey, I got a Colt's going to run High Oak. He's pretty good. He won first time out. Put me on the lead there.
That's why you were late.
Well, yeah,
That's why you were late.
But I was working on future shows, gleaning information.
Look at that scene. Something special about being in the paddock before a graded stakes race at Saratoga. We have two of them left, the Sanford for 2-year-olds and the Kelso riders up in the post parade next.
RaceLens is the most in-depth product in horse racing, with unique features found nowhere else. True odds, predictive analysis, and pace projection. RaceLens. It will change the way you follow horse racing and take your game to the next level.
The Cross Country Pick 5 combines the best racing from New York with top races from around the country in one bet. Find it in your track menu and play this weekend. Races and free PPs posted at NYRA.com/crosscountry.
One of the greatest that ever lived, Kelso, 5-time. Richie, a 5-time horse of the year. Staggering.
Incredible. And could do it on any surface, pretty much any distance. He could sprint if they wanted him to sprint. He could go 2 miles if they wanted him to go 2 miles. And then when he was done being a racehorse, he was a fox hunter, a show jumper. He just an all-around athlete. And my Uncle Phil, to this day, him and Dr. Fager are the 2 greatest horses he ever saw. Now, as old as I am, Tom, I actually don't remember Kelso, but I've seen a lot of YouTube video on it.
Let perspective, Tom, what that means for the sport. Horse of the year on 5-time occasions.
I'm just thinking in my head, and I'm no statistician when it comes to those kind of things, but can you name a horse that's even done it 3 times? Horse of the year?
Well, Forgo.
Okay, so Forgo's
the only
horse
other
of the
one.
year 3 times.
3 times, yes.
And did he win it a 4th? So he's, I mean,
so.
in today's modern age, and horses leaving the track going in the stud, which obviously Kelso didn't do, you know, it's not going to happen again. It's just not.
That's the point. Records meant to be broken, and never say never. Feel pretty safe saying we'll never see another 5-time horse of the year. The Kelso, formerly the Forbidden Apple. Keep prep for the Grade 1 4-star Dave. We're looking at the favorite, Annapolis, 7-5. Acacia's in the paddock with this Kelso Paddock Report.
And Lafitte, we'll start with with Casa Creed, as we just heard from Lee Einseidler. And after we finished that interview, Lee said, he always gets warm. I said, boy, do I know it. And I think we're all feeling a little bit warm today. But Casa Creed was hosed off when he first came into the paddock. And if you see him getting a little bit washy or a little bit sweaty, that is normal. That's how he has always been. But as he's gotten older, he's gotten better. He wasn't that bad last time in the diaper. And again, though he was hosed off, he's really holding himself together pretty well. I imagine as he'll get warmer as they get out onto the track. But I think he's even fitter and stronger than he was last time in the diaper. Now, when he won that 4-star Dave, it did turn in tactically to a little bit more of a sprint race late, but we know he can handle the distance, and physically, I don't mind it. The 2 Annapolis, as I had touched on with Todd, he's a big, heavy, solid type of horse, kind of a typical Warfront, and he carries his substance, that's for sure. But he's grown a little bit, to my eye, at least coming back as a 4-year-old, and he was really kind of strutting his stuff around the paddock. You can see that he's one that just carries his condition so well from race to race. He's incredibly strong in here, and he will look for there to be a bit of a pace setup. The 7 Anaconda is one that I think we're going to try to find out just how good he is. Won that elusive quality 2 back, and last time I think he just tactically early on in the race was not run how he would have preferred. He was actually last early and then rushed up inside, and I think you're going to see him break a little bit sharper today and kind of be in that first kind of stalking flight, so to speak. He's dappled from head to toe, and he is on his toes as they head out from the walking ring. Lafitte?
Annapolis Acacia, 7-5 the favorite against the grain, Tom, in that opening verse with everything against him, and still classy enough, gritty enough to scratch and claw his way to a win.
Oh, yeah. Oh, as you mentioned, overcame a slow pace that would set up his finish and moved outside, out of that pocket we talked about, Richie. Yep. And it was very aggressive last time English B was. I'd look for the change in riders and the style and being down the inside for this horse to be much more relaxed today. That really cost English B last time.
The favorite Annapolis, classy millionaire.
Yeah, by the prolific Claiborne Farm Stallion Warfront. I love that this horse runs in the colors that were worn by Avatar, Arthur Seelingson, father of Ramona Bass. He runs in those colors.
Midday Image is out, omits some of the speed. Ice Chocolat, he's been sprinting almost a year since his last route.
Well, stretching out off sprints sometimes lends him to having more speed.
16-1, then Big Everest, fast, gelding, sharp, having won 4 straight.
4 straight, and how's he done it? By using his speed, going to the front early.
5-1, Joel Rosario. Then number 6, Filo de Ariana, the Brazilian, more speed, second in the poker.
I think this horse could have a big say in how this race is run. Seems that he runs his best when he shows speed and should be forward.
Number 7, Anaconda, tight quarters in the poker, solid effort.
Solid effort, but this is a big step up for Anaconda. I've used this line before. Anaconda don't want none.
Miramati's got to use that at the wire if he pulls off the upset. Anaconda don't want none. Maybe Casa Creed does. Popular multimillionaire, 3-time Grade 1 winner.
Horse it's easy to root for. Good connections, honest, shows up every time, and should be closing and should get speed to help set up that close.
Warm day. Typically does get warm. He was seeking a 3rd straight win in the Grade 1 Jaipur, Tom. He's going to be denied, but man, did he run well.
He did run well, and I think Lee said it very appropriately. You know, that race looked like there was a lot of speed on paper. It didn't turn out that way. Caravel, the only filly in the race, was very close to the pace setter and was able to take over a long shot to win. It was hard to close on that day, and Casa Creed closed as best he could. But this one-turn distance versus a mile, 2-turn distance today, I think Casa Creed, especially as he's gotten older, Richie, I think this is what he wants, this mile distance.
I agree. That's what I see. As he's gotten older, you know, those sharp sprints, he's capable, but I think this gives him more of an opportunity to get in a good stride.
Picture of class, isn't he?
Really is. Look at how he frames up, carries himself, bows his head. I love when horses gallop, you know, warm up like that, Tom. They're not really pulling on the rider, but it looks like they are. So, but you just put your hands down and they tuck up like that for you.
Yeah, you know, there are times where you watch horses warm up that you train. You see them every single day, every morning, and you watch them warm up for all their races. There are times where you can actually go out to the fence and watch them warm up, as I always do, and you can just tell when you got a big race coming from one of them.
Game time approaching, and he knows it. Casa Creed, 3-time Grade 1 winner, so he comes from off the pace. Big Everest, number 5, does not. Joel Rosario in the saddle. He has rattled off 4 straight. This was his most recent, the cliffhanger at Monmouth. He's in front, dictating, Richie. He had everything his own way, every step. Probably not going to be the case today.
Well, what's become like really interesting with Big Everest is how he's learned to settle. He was a horse that used to really pull. Even when he would make the lead, he would kind of run through the bridle, grab the bit. Now he's going to the front and he flicks his ears up and he comes back to the rider and he becomes much more responsive. Now, is that just a question of maturity or are there other factors? I don't have the opportunity to watch him train, but I can see a clear difference in how well he settles, at least on the lead. Will he be able to do the same thing if somebody actually outruns him, or is he going to pull?
What do you think, Acacia, faced with a different race shape today and against better horses in the Kelso, Big Everest?
It's going to be the challenge for him, and I think you can look at his form and say, well, he's been very lucky. I think he's just been very well managed to be put in spots where he's been able to be successful and rattle off those victories. But as you and Richie touched on, when they changed the style with him going to the lead, and that was back in June of 2022, that was also his first start as a gelding, and I think that has helped dramatically. Also in the way that he trains. I know Jarrett, who was hot walking him at the barn the other day. It was her first time holding him, and she was a little nervous as he's a big boy. And she said, "I want to take him home. He's like a puppy." And you've just seen that mental maturity from him. But he also knows when it's game time. He comes in with cotton in his ears to muffle out the sound, try to keep him relaxed. And he's been staying with the pony out under Joel Rosario. He's done everything right as of yet with midday image out. That will help. But we'll see what he does when faced with not being alone on the lead, because I do think the 6 Filo de Ariana will be aggressively handled early. This is a big, solid horse. He is very strong behind, and he's experimented with sprinting too. And while he ran quite well up at Woodbine on synthetic 2 back, I think that was a little bit more of a prep race as well as his poker. He was hustled right out to the lead, and he had some company, but he really dug in as Emmanuel came closing. So I would expect Jose Ortiz, who will be aboard today too, and he also got a relatively quiet warm-up, but I think that they're going to use the similar tactics once again. But guys, as you mentioned, the warm-up from Casa Creed won me over today as he will try to get that mile distance once again.
He's looks the part, does Casa Creed. There he is again with Luis Saez, but Filo de Ariana with Jose Ortiz. Acacia touched on the quiet warm-up between him and Big Everest. Who do you think is quicker? This goes back to handicapping jockeys and how hard the jockey and how hard that horse is going to have to work to make the lead.
Yeah, so the word is intent out of the gate. And, you know, I think Big Everest is quicker, and I think the instruction in the paddock had to be go. So, you know, Joel Rosario, probably the fastest of the speed in the race, but it's just not going to come easy, Richie, and there's only so much gas in the tank for each of these horses. How much energy Big Everest used to make the lead is going to have a lot to say about how much energy he has left at the end. And when you look at the other speed in there, they're going to keep him honest. I think the 4 Ice Chocolat and the 6 are both going to keep Big Everest honest. I'm looking at that middle of the gate at the beginning of the race to see how it unfolds, but I think Big Everest is the quickest.
Well, and I agree with you. And when you have horses that have speed and they're drawn side by side, that's when it tends to kind of create a speed duel or set themselves off a bit, right? Because they're drawn next to each other and maybe they'll feed on that energy. I just wonder what the intent, and that's a great word, is going to be, right? You have Ice Chocolate, same ownership group, same trainer as Filo de Ariana, the 6. So one of them's probably going to go and one of them's going to take back, right?
That's a major, major point. I'm glad you brought that up. I totally agree. You know, as Mark Cassidy talks to both those riders, he certainly isn't going to be hell-bent on them both going out of the gate and causing a problem for both of them.
Yep.
They're going to have different strategies. Those riders are going to be told. So I'm with you. I think the 6 is probably, of the 2 Mark Cassidy horses, the 4 and the 6, I think the 6 is the horse that Cassidy is going to try to determine to get to the front with.
How does the draw, Richie, impact the riders' decision-making? Joel Rosario and Big Everest being just inside of Filo de Ariana and Jose Ortiz.
See, I used to use that as a way to simplify things for me. If I'm one of 2 or 3 speeds even, and I'm drawn inside those other speeds, well, you guys adjust around me. I'm going forward. And that's how I would approach it. I wasn't going to overcomplicate it. I think sometimes riders like us read the form and maybe overthink it. And how many times we'll see a race that looks loaded with speed and wind up everybody comes out looking at each other and they go slower than they should.
No, it can be a game of chicken. It really can, out the gate for these riders. They're right next to each other. They're going to come out the gate. I think all three will have an intent to be close. And then it becomes, by the time they get to the first turn, who says, I think it's time for me to back off, versus who says, I'm going on.
And the favorite in those famed silks, Arad Ortiz, Annapolis. Remember, he was 5-1 in the Breeders' Cup Mile as a 3-year-old. As a 3-year-old, that's how highly thought of he was, not only facing the best North American turf milers, but the best from overseas as well.
He's really good. Annapolis is really good, and so is the 8 Casa Creed. But I think the race, and the bettors believe it too, boils down to the 2 Annapolis and the 8 Casa Creed, and they're counting on a speed duel up front where these 2 horses conserve energy and then have a lot of gas in the tank down the stretch.
Where do you expect Annapolis? Richie, where do you expect Casa Creed?
I think Annapolis will be laying in behind the pace. I don't think he's going to be that far away. I think Casa Creed will be a little bit further back, and I'm sure with his eyes glued on Annapolis, and you want to shadow him. Again, a rider's job is to compromise his competition as much as possible within the rules. If he's inside him, you can get first run. You want to stuff him if you can.
I think based on these horses' style, Casa Creed is very comfortable having Annapolis in front of him. I don't think the opposite is true. I don't think Annapolis would be comfortable down the backside being behind Casa Creed.
Love the chess match, the chess game, the strategy amongst the jockeys in races like this, Richie.
No, there's so much going on. And as a rider, it's your job, right, to not only handicap on page, but watch film, know every horse's habits, who drifts, who has a tendency to lug in when they tire. You don't want to get trapped behind that one. Who has a tendency to drift out? What riders have tendencies, right? And you know the guys that lose their mind when they turn for home and allow their horses to drift and get loose. You want to follow those guys and find holes.
Well, looking at Big Everest going in the gate right there, you see the white in his ears? He's got cotton in his ears. That's kind of a trick that trainers will use to kind of settle a horse down, put cotton in their ears, they can't hear much.
Very typical for Big Everest. Expected to be up close with Filo de Ariana filing into the gate. We're all set. Post time for the Grade 3. Kelso, Frank Miramati standing by.
Thank you, Lafitte. They're in the gate. And they're off in the Kelso. English B and Big Everest both out very quickly. Big Everest goes on with Filo de Ariana now pressing in second. Just in behind them, Casa Creed 3 wide going into the first turn, passed by Anaconda, who now takes the third spot, racing on the outside of English B. That pair about 4 lengths off the lead. Annapolis is covered up on the inside of Casa Creed, the 2 favorites side by side, and 2 more to Ice Chocolat. Joel Rosario and Big Everest in control early, leading the way by 2 lengths. Filo de Ariana is in second by the same margin. Then it's English B and Anaconda racing together. The opening quarter went in 23 1/5 seconds. Casa Creed is next. Annapolis bottled up along the inside, 4 lengths off the leader, and it's another 2 to Ice Chocolat. They're covered by 5 lengths into the far turn. Big Everest got a reasonable half in, 47 seconds flat, well within himself, leading by a half length to Filo de Ariana in second. Then comes Anaconda. On the outside, Casa Creed is called on. He's coming with a 3 wide bid. Annapolis will go even wider. Whitecap far outside as the field turns for home. It's still Big Everest clinging to a narrow lead. Casa Creed right to him. On the inside, English B. Farther back, Annapolis has a lot of work to do. Casa Creed a 2-length lead coming to the 16th pole. Annapolis finding his best stride, but it's Casa Creed. Casa Creed, what a classy individual, wins the Kelso. Annapolis was second best. It's a photo for third between Ice Chocolat and English B.
Like a carbon copy of the 4-star Dave, Lee Einseidler with a graded stakes win to celebrate. All smiles, Casa Creed in the Kelso.
You know, we talked about it. We talked about these 2 horses' styles and how Casa Creed has a quick explosion and Annapolis is one that kind of grinds. And when they're going into the turn and Casa Creed is ahead of Annapolis, it's game, set, and match. Annapolis is not going to have that kick to catch what Casa Creed can do down the stretch. And although Annapolis runs a very, very good race, the advantage goes to Casa Creed.
Just more dynamic. It's more explosive.
Annapolis is coming. He's grinding. He keeps coming at you. I mean, he's a terrific racehorse, but Casa Creed has that quick acceleration. And when he shadowed Annapolis every step of the way from the outside, you knew he was going to get first run. I actually thought he might have went a little early because it allowed Annapolis then to come out and follow him. But obviously, getting that jump on him was the key to victory.
It was indeed.
Winning co-owner Lee Einseidler. Interested in the Meadowlands pace a little bit later on tonight, but first things first, a trip to the winner's circle. You saw Bill Mott, and what kind of a summer is Bill Mott sitting on here at Saratoga with horses like Casa Creed, with horses like
last summer.
Cody's Wish, Elite Power. We talk champions, Grade 1 types, absolutely loaded at just the right time of year.
He's unveiling good-looking 2-year-olds. He's got that filly.
Sugar High opening day.
Yeah, Sugar High opening day. That filly that Juddmonts had won so impressively with Javier Castellano at Churchill Downs.
Oh, yes.
She's 2 for 2.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm not remembering her name. But as good as Bill Mott always does, I think his barn is the deepest it's been since he was training for Alan Paulson back when he had Cigar and those kind of horses.
Yeah, last year Bill Mott had a great meet here. And I think we're watching it unfold again this year. That's what great trainers do, right?
One of the very best, youngest to ever be inducted into the National Museum of Racing and Hall of Fame. And I want to say Casa Creed finished up in the 4-star Dave on his wrong lead, Richie, just like he is here. Wrong lead, right result. In the end, it doesn't matter. Casa Creed takes down the Kelso onto the 4-star Dave. He successfully defended his Grade 1 Jaipur win a couple of years ago. Now he'll try and do the same in the 4-star Dave.
I think when he hit the front, he just lost a little focus and went back to his left lead. And then he's so smooth, he actually went back to his right lead, and you didn't even notice how him doing it. A lot of times you'll pick up when a horse changes leads, a little of that exaggerated motion. Not with this guy. He did it just like suspended one stride and onto his right lead.
When you're breaking down races in terms of time, if you're getting the last portion of that race, if that horse is getting it in under 12 seconds for an eighth of a mile, as Casa Creed just did, you're going to win a lot of races, and there's going to be a lot of horses that can't catch up to you.
We'll hear from the winning connections when we come back. Luis Saez, Casa Creed, and the Kelso. 2 graded stakes races in the books. One left, the historic Sanford. Trainer Steve Asmussen, the 2-year-olds in his stable, and this looks like the best of them. Gold Sweep. Should we believe the hype? Odds-on favorite for the Sanford. Next on Saratoga Live.
Drain the Clock will win and win by as much as he wants. He'll win by 6 in the end.
It is Drain the Clock who will bound home the winner in the Bay Short. Drain the Clock, Jackie's Warrior, a terrific finish in the Woody Stevens that goes to Drain the Clock by a head.
Nominate.
Nominate now.
Nominate now. Nominate now.
Have you nominated yet?
Nominate now.
Don't miss out. Nominate today.
Nomina hoy para los premios de la industria.
Nominate now.
Nominate your employees today.
Who are your unsung heroes?
Have you nominated?
Visit TIEA.org and nominate a deserving candidate today.
What are you waiting?
Down to the final furlong. Now by 7. Trefaros in a good battle for second with Matt Torreya. Nobody catching Society. Streaking through the stretch to score by 9 lengths on the wire.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
Exciting Saturday from Saratoga. You're watching Saratoga Live, as always, brought to you in part by Naira Bets. But any track, anywhere, anytime, visit NairaBets.com or download the Naira Bets app to get started. A exciting Grade 3 Kelso with Grade 1 talent, Grade 1 winners going head-to-head. Casa Creed just too explosive for Annapolis, and the rest, co-owner Lee Einseidler, going to enjoy this one. And it's not just the win here. It's JK. Not just the win here, but it represents moving forward for the Grade 1 4-Star Dave, the most prestigious middle-distance turf race at Saratoga.
It's a perfect prep, right? Good spacing between the two races, a mile over the course you're going to have to run on, and you got a horse in good form. And I think 2-1 was generous. 650
well, he won't be
for
second
Casa
choice in that race,
No.
I can tell you that.
Hall of Fame trainer Bill Mott with Acacia.
As Casa Creed, the 7-year-old, picks up another graded stakes win. Bill, what a cool horse he is now at 7. He's always been good, but it just seems like he's gotten even more professional and even more tractable out there.
Right. I mean, he's been a great horse. We broke his maiden as a 2-year-old here in a race that came off the turf, actually, and he won on the main track. And he's just run remarkable races every year. I mean, he's been a real warrior and a real joy to have around.
Now winning at a mile yet again. Are we looking for the 4-star Dave repeat?
That would have been the ultimate goal up here, and he was doing very well, and we decided to run in here. Hopefully this race didn't take anything out of him, for the 4-star Dave, but, we've got 4 weeks to try to come back, and we'll do our best and get him freshened up and ready to go.
Like you said, he's always been a good horse, but he's traveled around the world, too. And I thought he looked even fitter, stronger today, like he's flourished coming back now.
Right. He's been a great traveler. I mean, he's been, abroad a couple times and made the trip back, and that kind of defuncts the idea that horses can't travel, make a trip like that to Dubai or Saudi Arabia and come back, because I think if they're the right horse, they're tough and they're durable and they've got the right disposition, I think they can do it.
He's all that. Congratulations, Bill.
Thank you. Thank you.
7-year-old Casa Creed with another big one, Lafitte.
Acacia. You guys remember when we thought Casa Creed would be? He was a sprinter. That's what he was best at, right? Grade 1 winning miler, and out to defend his title in a few weeks in the 4-star Dave.
Older, a little more chill. you tend to go more the route style than you do the athletic sprint type of race. But he can do both. We both know that. But this is what he does best. Watching Bill Mott's interview, I like how he admired his athlete, how he admired his horse. That's the beauty of training horses, being proud of your students, the ones that are really good.
And having it started here at Saratoga for Casa Creed, it seems like that long ago, where he's done some of his very best work. As Lee Einseidler was saying, he might actually love it here up at the spot more than he does.
I don't know that anybody loves it more than Lee Einseidler does coming up here, but Casa Creed, I mean, it's just great for us as racing fans to have this horse continue on now a 7-year-old campaign. I think that's how we create a fan base. Horses that have longevity, they keep coming back. You start looking for them, and you become a fan of them because of that longevity.
So we're looking for the next Casa Creed, right? Or the next Triple Crown prospect with the Sanford that is next with 2-year-old. It is the Spendthrift 2-year-old race of the day, brought to you by Spendthrift Farm, home of North America's 4-time reigning champion, General Sire. There's the field for the Grade 3 Sanford. Scratch Factor You and Factor Me In. No surprise, number 9 Gold Sweep, 2-5. Early on, historic Sanford Stakes. 2-year-olds, let's go by the numbers. The first number, 1913, inaugural running, named after New York businessman and owner Stephen Sanford, who was fastest. That was only the beginning. Fleet Alex, 109.32. Most wins by a jockey, 7. It's wash, rinse, and repeat. Show me a record Johnny Velasquez doesn't own at Saratoga. And naturally, those two go hand in hand. Todd Pletcher with 8, most by a trainer. Many of those with Johnny V in the saddle. Most wins by an owner. That number is 8. Green Tree Stable, the immortal Fuzzbuster in 1978. Biggest upset, one of the biggest upsets in sports. Manowar defeated by upset. Saratoga's trio of marquee races, only 4 have managed to sweep the hair. Champion 1993 and Sanford winners crowned. Champion 2-year-old, the number is 8. Big Red Secretariat, that was not the last big race. Secretariat won. The Sanford 4 2-year-olds.
आज आप अपना ऑनलाइन बिजनेस स्टार्ट कर सकते
सकते हैं वो भी just one time.
So 90,000 out of it, 90,000. Here's on number 778. This is going to be from the Brian Frank collection. Pay close attention here. The 1969 Chevrolet Camaro Custom Coupe is a California car with a fresh, comprehensive restoration, powered by a new blueprinted 383 cubic inch, 430 horsepower stroker crate engine, mated to an FTI precision transmission with overdrive. Mr. Steve, tell them a little bit more about this beautiful car.
Brian brings us only the best, as you could witness yourself all weekend long. And these cars are coming from one of the top collections in the United States, if not the world. Brian and his family have been part of the Barrett-Jackson family for many, many years, multi-generational. Buy it with confidence. You're buying it from a quality consignor. The car's absolutely what it looks like, 383, 430 horsepower stroker, as we said. Buy it with confidence, folks. Opportunity right here.
All right, you got 2, hey, you got 100, hey, you got 10, hey, 20, I'm it down 20, $30, I'm it down 30, 40, I'm it down 40, I'm it down 40, I'm 50, I'm it down 40, I'm it down 50, $50, I'm it down 50, hey, down 50, 60, hey, down I'm gonna get 5, now 60, hey, down I'm gonna get $60, I'm it down 60, I'm it down $60, I'm it down 5, now 70, I'm it down 70, now 5, 75, I'm on 80, I'm at 80, down I'm it down 80, $80, I'm at 80, hey, down I'm at 80, down 5, now 90, 85, 90, I'm row, 85, about 90, down 90, I'm about 90, 90, 90, 800, I'm at 90, down 90, gotta be 90, 90, down 90, down I'm at 90, down here, I'm at 80, I'm gonna get 90, down, I'm at 90, 800, I'm at 90, better get 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 90, 800, I'm at 90, down, 800, I'm at 90, better get talk about this, Shane, gotta go. Now, this car has been re-chromed, original bumpers. It rides on 18-inch and 20-inch billet rally wheels with the red line tires. All the paperwork and receipts from the builder are going to be included. Another remarkable example from the Brian Frank collection. 790, 800, give me about 90 pound dollar. 800, give me about 90 pound dollar. 90, 800, I'm going to get 90 pound dollar. How you done, sir? 800, I'm going to get 90, even about 90, even about 90 band. I'm on the stage. 800, I'm going to get 90. Hold through, hold on. 800, I'm going to get 90, I'm going to get 90, and I. So 87,000 out of it, 87,000. Camille. Lot number 778.1. Title reads exceeds mechanical limits. Title is a 1972 GMC unknown. Here is a 1972 GMC custom SUV. Custom fully restored example in front of you, ladies and gentlemen. The 6-liter LS V8 engine paired to a 6-speed Hughes Performance automatic transmission. Here's 778.1. All right, folks, I've walked by this for the last 3 days, and there's been a crowd around it off oil 24/7. 800 money down, hooky boy. 800 get 200 pound dollar 10. 800 down 20 pound dollar. I'm down 20 30. I'm down 30 down. I'm gonna get 30 pound dollar. Yet again, sir. I'm down 30. I'm down 30 down. I'm down 30 30 40 40. I'm gonna get 30 40. I'm down 30 down. I'm down 40 down. I'm down 40. I'm down 40 down. I'm gonna get 40 down 50. I'm down 5. Thank you. Now 50. 800. I'm down 5. 50 pound on 5 5 5 down. I'm gonna get 50 pound on 5. 50 pound on 5 5 5 5. I'm gonna get 55. 800. I'm down 5 down. I'm down 5. 50 pound. I'm gonna get 5 60. 8 now 60. Now 60. 800. I'm gonna get 60 down. Now 5. 8 now 5 5 5 down. I'm gonna 5. 800. Get 5. I'm gonna get 5. 800. Get 5. I'm gonna get 5 5 5 70. 800. Get 5. I'm gonna get now 5. 70 bad 5 right here. 8 now 70 now 5. 800. Get 75 and I'm on 5. Ought to be doing 200. 75 and now 80. I'm at 75. I'm gonna get $80,000. Now you got 80 now 5. 85 and I'm on 5. You're out, sir. 87 and I'm 5. 800 and I'm on 5. I'm gonna get 5. 5 and I get 5. 5 and I get 5. 85 90. 82 85. Sir, the door's wide open. 800 to get him on that 5. 800 to get him on. I'm gonna get $5. Now 2 now 5. 800 to get him on. I'm gonna get $5. Now $2 to 5. 885 85 85. 800 to get him on. I'm gonna get 5 6 8. I'm gonna 2 5. It had a bare metal respray in lime green pearl, as you can see. Has cream, two-tone, and has a custom two-tone brown leather interior as well. Features a state-of-the-art sound system, LED Dakota digital gauges. What an absolute beauty here, Shane. 778.1. Now 5 5 5. 81 5. Give me the 5. 800 to give me the bottom. I'm gonna get now 5. 800 to give me the bottom. Hammers high. Down $2 to bid 5. 800 to give me the bottom. I'm gonna get $5. Now 5. 2 2 5 5. 800 to give me the bottom. I'm gonna get $5. And I sold 82,000 out of it. 82,000. Henry Ray. Lot number 779's next. Here's a 1979 Ford Bronco custom SUV. It's faded in factory coral paint with a chromatic stripes. It's Biston recently painted, just completed an extensive 1,200-hour frame-off restoration. Does have customization to include Roush supercharged Coyote 5-liter engine. All right, there's a difference. 800 down 2. 800 to give me 10, 20. 800 to give me the bottom. I'm gonna get $30,000. 20, 30. 800, he's in. 800 40 down, I'm at 40 out, sir. 800, I'm at 40, 50. I'm at 40 down, I'm at get $50,000, 60. I'm at 5, now 60. 800, I'm at 5. 800, I'm at get $100, I'm at $70,000, I'm at 70, 70, 75. I'm at 70, 5, 5, 80 down, I'm at 80, now 5. I'm at 85 and down 90. I'm at 85, I'm at 90 down, I'm at 90, 95, 5, 5, 500. 8 now 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 5, 5, 5. 800 to 500 to 5. 800 now, sir, you're out. 100 down, 5. Now 10. 800 to 500 to 10. 100 to 10, 100 to 15,000. 800 down, 10 to get 15. 8 now 15, 20. 800 to get $20,000. Now I'm at 20, now 5. 125, sir, you're out of here. 125, 30. 800 to get 30, now 5. 135, I'm gonna get $100. Now I'm at 5. 40. I'm at 40, now 5. 140 down, now 5. 145, I'm gonna get 50 down. I'm at 50, now 5. I'm at 5, 5. I'm at 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 60. 800 to get down 60, now 5. I'm at 165, 5, 5, you're on 5. Now 70. I'm at 170, 170, 175, 5. Sir, you're back out. 175, 80. 800 to get 180 down, now 5. 885, I'm at 5. 185, 90. 891, 90, now 5. 895, 195. 8 now 200. 200. 200 down, 2. 8 now 2, 2, 2. Yes, sir. 800 to get $10 down, 2. 207, now 2. 800 to get better, I'm gonna get 2. 800 to get 200 now, sir. You're out of here. 200. 800 to get better, I'm gonna get 200 to get better, I'm gonna get 2. 200, 200, 200. 800 to get better, I'm gonna get $200 down, 2. 800 to get you on 2, sir. He's out, he's out. 800 to get $10 ride with Jay Bryant. 800 and die. Careful, careful. Sold it, sold it, sold it. $197,000.
Need Mike 3, Baker. Mike 3, please. Here's on number 779.1. Specialist update, vehicle not in your printed catalog. Here's a 1992 Land Rover Defender 90 custom SUV. Ladies and gentlemen, it's powered by a freshly rebuilt 2.5-liter, 4-cylinder, 200 TDI, fuel-injected engine. This power is transferred to the road as an all-wheel drive system with a 5-speed manual gearbox. Here's Drew Turner.
Oh, thank you, Shane. Dig it down, dig it down, dig it down, dig it down, 200 grand. Hit 200, dig it down 10, dig it down 10 grand, 20 grand, dig it down 10, dig it down 20, dig it down 30, dig it down 40, and 30 grand, dig it down 40 grand, dig it down 30, 40, dig it down 30,000, dig it down 40,000, dig it down 30, 40, hit 40,000, dig it down 30, dig it down 40, dig it down 35, 40, dig it down 35, dig it down 40, hit 35, dig it down 40, dig it down 40,000, dig it down 35, dig it down 40, hit 40 grand, dig it down 35, dig it down this is good, dig it down 40, dig it down 40, dig it down 35, Shane, dig it down 40,000.
Once again, powered by a freshly rebuilt 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine. It also features Apple CarPlay, sound system, GPS, backup camera, 779.1.
Hit 40 down, dig it down 40 grand, dig it down 40, dig it down 35, dig it down 40, hit 30 grand, 40 grand, dig it down 35, then dig it down 35, dig it down 5, hit 35, dig it down 5, dig it down 5, dig it down 35, dig it down 5, hit 35, dig it down 5, dig it down 35, dig it down 35, dig it down 35, hit 35, dig it down 5, dig it down. Ladies and gentlemen, come back to the auction. You got a car up here worth about 100 grand. Dig it down. What you got? Dig it down 32, 35, hit 32, bless you, dig it down 5, dig it down 2, dig it down 5, dig it down 3, 5, and now 35, dig it down 5, dig it down 5, dig it down 5, dig it we ain't even the half price yet, ladies and gentlemen. Hit 35, dig it down 37, dig it down 40, and now 37, dig it down 840, dig it down 40, dig it down 40,000.
As the pony is with him over there, they're over in the grass. It's when they go to saddle him, he gets really nervous because he walked in A-OK today as Phil Serpy takes over training him. The jury's out on how talented he is. He's not a bad-looking customer, but watch and how he behaves out on the racetrack to give an indication of how he'll do today. But another horse that made his first start of winning one down at Gulfstream Park is Dickens, and for more on him, we check in with Acacia.
Yeah, Maggie, a few Florida breds to the inside, and Dickens, in contrast to Jive, has been kind of asleep here in the paddock. He's handled everything very easily, and having spent time down at Gulfstream Park, Juan Alvarado is very, very sharp with getting 2-year-olds ready to roll early and getting them to show speed and win at first asking, and that's exactly what Dickens did. Edgar Zayas, who rode him, is a very strong gate rider. He was quick out. He was dueling with another horse, but then pulled away. Actually, I hope he perks up a little bit, but he's carrying a lot of good weight coming up here from Florida, and his last workout was a maintenance one in company with Jive down to the inside. The number 1 Call the Cavalry. He won at first asking coming up the rail, but he had the inside post that day, and he kind of planted his feet a touch at the break, and then a few strides out of the gate, he kind of had a little bit of a stutter step, a little bit of a stumble. John with the inside again today. Braking is going to be imperative for him as he faces tougher today. He showed that he has no qualms with coming up inside of horses, which is always something you like to see with a young horse, and he too has been quite professional in the paddock, but hopefully he will be able to get out of the gate a little bit quicker, and Arad Ortiz can get him into the race earlier, as they all, it seems, Lafitte, have to get around your favorite Gold Sweep.
And for his trouble, Acacia, draws the rail. Richie does call the cavalry after the sluggish start in his debut that he did win, but he needs to get away cleaner today if he has any shot of competing with the likes of Gold Sweep.
Yeah, and you think about having that inside post, right? If you don't brake well, those outside horses are going to fold over. And like I always likened it to, you're at the beach and this big rogue wave comes, folds over you, knocks you down, throws you around in the sand a little bit, rubs your face on the bottom of the ocean. That's what
around as possible. You have to maintain position. So the fact that Call the Cavalry has a start under his belt, I don't think that's as big an issue as it would be in a debut.
You never,
which he